Hurts takes the snap. He's back. He's going to run. He's in! Touchdown! Jalen Hurts! The Eagles are just devouring the Giants. And it is A.J. Brown again! Another touchdown!
Welcome back to the Link lineup pregame show. Today, it's it's 15, right? I think week 15.
It is week 15, yeah.
Week 15, time's flown. We're already halfway through December. And also, let's not forget, happy fantasy playoffs. Depending on how your league is formatted, typically you start playoffs today. So happy playoffs. First round.
Good.
We wish everybody who is in the playoffs the best of luck, and we wish all those who are fighting for last place to not get that spot. Depending on your league and your punishment, it could be a stressful week or two for you. But I got Josh today with me. Chase, Bryce, I'm sure will join me later on. But we're doing it early. We're doing a little early just because I got fantasy playoffs got to watch for, and I just want to watch the games. But we'll do the halftime show. We'll do the post-game show as normal. But yeah, so in case you just weren't following us, we weren't able to do the pregame show, post-game show, or even talk about last week's game because I was in Kentucky celebrating my best friend's wedding and kind of took the week off from work as well. So let's touch on that real quick. I know there's plenty to talk about because of everything that's happened throughout the week. But let's talk about the game first, just real briefly. The game was, I'm going to chalk it up as it just wasn't our day. And that happens sometimes in sports. And I think that, that was last year's Arizona game, right? That was last year's Arizona game. And last year we lost that game. This year we won it. Everything went wrong. Pass game couldn't get started. And really, it was just an ugly game. But what do you think? Do you think you chalk it up as that, or do you think there is a concern that needs to be addressed?
I mean, I don't think it raised any concerns. I think there's been the same concern all year that can Jalen win us a game. I don't know. The Panthers have been on a roll, though, lately. Took the Chiefs until their last drive to beat them just a couple weeks earlier. Not that the Chiefs are anything special this year, but they haven't scored 30 points in a game yet.
Chiefs?
Mm-hmm.
I know that.
Yeah, they're one of 4 or 5 teams, and the others are the Giants, I don't know, some other bad teams. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I'm not overly concerned. It didn't bring up any new concerns, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I figured it was what it was, and I would be more concerned if we lost that game.
Right.
But yeah, but that comes with the territory, and frankly, we did get lucky on that Xavier Legette drop. But
we did.
But they also got lucky on the no passenger or face mask call.
And then the Adam Thielen catch that was up in the air for what felt like 20 minutes.
Yeah. So I mean, it didn't. I don't know. Last week didn't move the needle for me, I guess.
Yeah. So let's briefly talk about the dramatics over this past week that happened. So Brandon Graham doing what every old guy does. They talk, and that's what he did. He went to WIP on his show and said that, well, it came off to some people that AJ hates Jalen, and we're back to where we were last year. So whenever AJ said the word passing, whenever it was the question was phrased, what's something you guys can work on? He said passing. I do fault AJ just a tiny bit because I do think that he could have phrased it better in a way that didn't leave it open for discussion. He could have said it, passing starts with all of us, me, Kellen, Jalen, all that fun stuff. But he didn't. He said passing. And so BG just basically just added fuel to the fire, and it was absolutely the stupidest thing I've ever seen BG do. And I love BG. I was sad when we got hurt, but I mean, absolutely dumb thing to do, to go on one of the worst sports talking stations. Everybody hates WIP, and then to just do that, crazy. But do you think this is a Do you think they made it a bigger situation than what it is? And then how confident are you that this thing won't spiral like it did last year?
Yeah, I mean, to me, there's no doubt that they made it a bigger thing than it was. It's what WIP and the media in general do, just to make it a story, because they need something to talk about. I don't know. I'm more shocked that BG said anything. I mean, he's like one of the last guys I would expect to do that, especially like on WIP, which like everybody knows, like you said, is no one likes WIP. I don't think it's anything though. I think it's blown out of proportion, and like they're fine. Like I'm not concerned in the slightest. To me, it's just white noise.
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing that I thought of throughout the week is like, I mean, it's going to be a lame example, but I mean people who know will know. But you and I, we play 2K together, right? And we have, and sometimes it's in a competitive fashion. Sometimes things won't work out, and we'll be frustrated with each other, but we don't hate each other. And then just like in like I guess you want to call it real sports, like if whenever I played, there was always frustrations that player could do better, but you never hated them. Like I said, the only thing I disagree with AJ is he left it up for discussion of what he was talking about, and that's something that I think he could have done better at. I love AJ. I don't hate him anyway. My feelings towards him haven't changed, but I do think he could have done that a little bit better. Also, BG, just stop talking. It's like you gotta let it happen. I know you want to win. I know you want them to win, but you can't do that. You cannot do that. I think BG said that the way AJ said it was bad, but BG, the way you said it was even worse. But I feel like the team did an awesome job of like kind of putting out the fire this week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Nick did an awesome job whenever he was talked to. Jalen did a great job, and even AJ, and with some of the things they said. Sometimes I do wish they'd be like, dude, I love you. I wish they'd be like, I love AJ or I love Jalen, but they're never want to do that. They're never want to give us what we really want, but it is what it is. Anything else you want to talk about? More of the drama last week's game before we move on to the Steelers.
No, I mean I think that's about it. I think it was just the media doing what it does and blowing things out of proportion.
Well, the one last question I have, I just thought of it, is so obviously Jalen's been playing almost mistake-free football in regards to turnovers the past couple of weeks. Probably, yeah, knock on wood. I'm going to do the same. But do you think that he is playing too conservatively? Because, I think that he could take more chances, and those chances could turn into something great because part of playing the quarterback is taking chances, but taking, calculated risk,
Yeah.
Where are you at on that stance?
I'm kind of on the fence. It's hard for me to say that he should be doing things differently when we've been winning. But I do think, that he needs to try to – I think I'd be more comfortable with taking more calculated chances. But, I don't want him to – I don't know. I feel like it's a fine line. And I'd rather him – I don't know. I almost want to say I'd rather him be too conservative, but, I don't know. It's – having Saquon makes it a lot easier. Because he can be too conservative, and Saquon so far this season, can win us the game, and has done it on numerous occasions this year. But I don't know if that's going to get it done in the playoffs. So I want him to be more comfortable taking calculated chances and use his best judgment within the game plan. But I don't know. We got to figure that out before the playoffs. So, you don't want him to try to start to change things up.
Yeah. And great point, because I think AJ made an awesome point where he said, we can fix these things now before the playoffs, and we got 4 weeks to do it. I don't know if we're going to play in that fourth game based on the seeding, but we'll see. But yeah, let's move on to this week. Eagles started off, I believe, as 4.5 points favorites over the Steelers. They have now since jumped up to 5.5 point favorites. I believe George Pickens is out. I'm sure other people are out too, but George Pickens is the biggest missing person. But currently, fun fact, I didn't expect this because the Eagles were so bad for so long. The Eagles lead the series record 48-29, and then have 3 tied as well. Didn't know that.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
I wouldn't have either, because every team that I've ever seen that's been around for a long time usually has spanked their ass between the 80s and 90s, and
Yeah, you would think especially the Steelers.
Yeah, but nope, we
Huh.
we win that one. The last meeting, of course, was October 30th, 2022, and we remember what happened that game. AJ Brown kind of did his thing there. But the Steelers are coming off a victory over the Browns, 27-14, and of course, we barely beat the Panthers at home. Now the offense for the Steelers, it looks a lot. I want to say it looks a lot better with Russell Wilson in. I'm a big Justin Fields guy. I was hoping he would stay as a starter, but I mean Russell Wilson has turned this offense into a better unit. They're currently sitting at 17th overall, though. They are 9th on the ground, 23, ranked 23rd in passing, and the 10th in scoring. And the Eagles defense, of course, is still ranked first overall, 8th against the rush, 2nd against passing, and tied 2nd in scoring. Is there a matchup you're looking out for from the Steelers offense versus the Eagles defense?
Honestly, not particularly. Not in particular. The Steelers offense doesn't scare me. They're winning all of their defense this year. Like you said, they look a lot better with Russell Wilson. But especially the way our defense has played this year, I'm more concerned about our offense putting up enough points against them.
I mean, their best weapon is Chris Boswell. So,
yeah.
I mean, he won a game by himself. I'm not really the only thing that I would watch out for. And I'm the biggest Najee hater around. Just because every time I watch him, it seems like he's moving quicksand, and he just doesn't look like he has a ton of burst. He also doesn't break a ton of tackles, but he's a tough runner. I want to see what the Eagles can do. We had a bad week last week when it came to completing tackles. I think we let up 10 broken tackles, which a couple of them came from Tristan McCullum, who I believe is not playing because Reed's back. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I know they have Mike Wallace. They got Mike Wallace earlier this year on a trade. He'll probably be the top guy, or that what's his name, like Calvin Austin or something like that. He looked pretty good. I'm probably messing up his name, but it is what it is. But let's turn the page. Let's look at the Eagles offense versus the Steelers defense. Eagles offense ranked 7th overall, 1st in rushing, 31st in passing, 8th in scoring. Meanwhile, the Steelers defense is 7th overall, 4th against the rush, 17th against the pass, and 5th against scoring, or 5th in scoring. What matchup are you looking for that one?
Overall, I just want to see how we do through the air. I don't think there's a particular matchup, but right. I think this will be a really good test for our offense. I think this will be the best test our offense has had all year, frankly. I don't think we played a better defense than the Steelers. If there's ever going to be a game in the regular season that we need Jalen to win us the game, it'll be this one. I think the Steelers have a better chance than anybody of slowing down Saquon. But on the other hand, I still wouldn't be surprised if Jalen plays super conservatively, just plays the game manager role, and and Saquon gets 100 yards and a touchdown or two, and we win a low-scoring game.
Yeah. So it's funny because not only this matchup, it's the Eagles, so obviously I'm emotionally attached to it. You're emotionally attached to it. But me and Bryce are currently facing each other in the fantasy playoffs. I have Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, who I have on the bench. He's just too inconsistent, and it's partly because of Jalen. But Bryce has Saquon and AJ Brown. So this will be an interesting game. I'm always putting Eagles before fantasy, but if AJ goes off, guess what? That means Jalen had to do something, right? Because we're not handing the ball off to AJ. If we do, that's crazy, and of course, it would happen this week. But if Saquon slow down, Jalen's going to have to win us a game. I think he can. I think Jalen had a bad week last week. If you look at it, he was hesitant, and I do think that he's trying to keep his turnovers down to a minimum. But I do think that a lot of it is the scheme. And I feel like Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni haven't done a fantastic job of getting the offense in the rhythm. I think that what happens, and I know what happens, is maybe the first couple pass plays don't work. They're like, well, we have Saquon, so hand it off, and we're back. And then we'll sprinkle a pass here or there. And then they kind of abandoned the pass, just like in years past we've abandoned the run. Whereas I feel like this year now we kind of hammer the run no matter what. But I mean, my matchup is definitely, I think it's going to be a fun one, and that's going to be Lane Johnson versus TJ Watt. It's a heavyweight battle over there. If you're a fan of just trenches, that's a matchup to watch. Two of the best going at it, and it'll be interesting. Lane Johnson typically doesn't lose these matchups. I mean, you think of all the people he's faced throughout his lifetime. You typically don't ever hear Lane Johnson's name giving up sacks. And TJ Watt is probably one of the best edge rushers we'll see this year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. That's my matchup to watch. I do think that the Eagles do try to come out and make a point to pass the ball early. So we'll see what happens with that. So I want to do something real quick that we haven't done all year. I want to go to the betting website and look at the lines, and we're just going to predict the over-unders for this game. We'll just do the Eagles right now. So right now, I'm using Chalkboard because I got free money on there, and that's why I'm using today to bet. So Jalen Hurts is projected 196.5 passing yards. Do you think he goes over or under 196 yards?
You said 196?
Yep.
I'm going to go over today.
Over?
Yeah, not by much, but I think he'll break the 200 mark.
Awesome. I think he's going to go over as well. Next up, we have, it's Saquon's number, but they have a special on Saquon where it's 49.5 rushing yards, but they have him at 89.5 rushing yards this week. Do you think he goes over or under 89.5?
That's tough. I wish the line was 49.5.
Oh, I'm hammering that one, by the way.
Yeah. That's as free as it gets. Not going.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm inclined to say the over, but I gotta say the over. It's Saquon. The year he's having, nothing's stopping him.
I think that it's going to be the under. I do think the Steelers defense is really good. I mean, they got Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, and I'm a casual, so I forgot the other guy's name. I just looked it up. But they do have a great defense, and I do think that teams are going to start applying a lot of the resources to stopping Saquon and making Jalen win. So that's why I do have Jalen going over and I have Saquon going under. Now, 49.5, taking that one. That was free. And then next one just for funsies. Kenneth Gainwell, 11.5 rushing yards. It's either over or under because he's either going to get it by like 9 yards or he's going to not get a carry at all.
No, I'm going to say the over because I think he is going to get a touch or two or three.
We'll see what happens. All right. Now, bigger ones. AJ Brown, 80.5 receiving yards.
I'm gonna say under. No, I'm gonna say over.
Over.
Yeah.
All right. I think it'll be over as well. Devontae Smith, over under 47.5 receiving yards.
I hate to say it. I gotta say, I think I'm gonna say the under.
Yeah. I picked Devontae Smith in fantasy, thinking that he would be like the guy in motion, the guy running across the middle of the field, getting a lot of targets, a lot of volume. He just hasn't got it this year. I'm gonna go over though because I think the passing game's gonna have a good game. And if I'm betting on Jalen to hit the over, somebody's got to go over besides AJ. So
that's what I was thinking when I took the over for AJ. Like, he's got to get the yards somehow. But...
Well, we're running out of options. So next up is Grant Calcaterra. He said at 20.5 receiving yards.
Hammering the over.
Yeah, I think he can do it. In fact, most of the time that he's stepped in for Dallas Goedert, he's gotten over it, I think, majority of the time. And that's something I'm actually going to bet on now because that's about as free as it gets. Next up, last for the Eagles on chalkboard, we have Jahan Dotson set at 6.5 receiving yards.
Over. He gets that in his one catch per game every time. You can set the line at 20. I would take the over. But if you put his catch line at 1.5, I'm taking the under.
Yeah, there you go. He's definitely somebody that you got to look out for. Does Jalen Hurts throw a pick today?
No.
All right.
I don't think so.
All right. And then last one that I'm using, knock on wood. The last one I'm using is Jalen Hurts is set at 1.5 passing touchdowns. So are you going over or under?
I'm going under.
All right. Let's make some bold picks. And then we will wrap this up. I'm going to text Bryce real quick and ask him for his bold picks. But Josh, start with you. Give me your bold predictions and your score prediction. Or give me your bold prediction first.
Bold prediction. That's a tough one.
Don't say it.
Well,
I know
you know the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't say that one anymore. I might say it in the playoffs.
Yeah, it has to happen in the playoffs. Super Bowl, probably.
Super Bowl.
There we go.
Man. I don't know. I'm stuck. I don't know. Can you go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. So I'm gonna say that Jalen Hunt gets 2 sacks. Yeah, big game. That's bold prediction.
Oh wow. Okay.
I think that Russell Wilson likes to kind of move around in the pocket. And I think that kind of favors Jalen Hunt because he was a safety. He's a little bit more athletic. And you saw him kind of chase down Bryce Young last week.
That's true.
Yeah. And then I'm going to go ahead and say that TJ Watt gets held to 0 sacks on Lane Johnson. Not really a bold prediction, but more so just a prediction.
I think that's a safe prediction, just based on the way Lane's always played against elite pass rushers. I kind of like the Jalen Hunt one, though.
Maybe not the 2 sacks.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that Russell Wilson, I know he's older now, but he has always murdered us moving around, and we've never been able to catch him.
We haven't lost him. But different team now. Different team. Different coach.
Different coach. He's older, slower. Dallas is probably going to obliterate us now.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm having such a hard time coming up with a bold prediction. I'm thinking something offensively based.
You can say that AJ replicates his performance from last time, and it's like, what was it? 3 touchdowns and like 180 yards.
Oh, that would be nice.
That would be nice for my fantasy, but I'll take it.
I think
he had 6 catches, 156 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
I think that AJ is going to finish with more fantasy points than Saquon.
That is a bold prediction. That is a very bold prediction.
But hopefully this doesn't happen. But they could both have not great games. The prediction comes true. You win fantasy. Everybody wins.
No. But as long as the Eagles win, I don't care. If it's
as long as it's
going off, I'm okay.
First and foremost.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. But this was the matchup between me and Bryce was a championship rematch from last year. So a lot on the line. All right. Bryce hasn't messaged me back. I believe he's in church, so chances are he won't get back to us. So score predictions. I feel like we didn't predict last week because we were on here, but I think when we played the Ravens, I got closest, especially whenever I adjusted for my halftime pick, because my halftime pick I was right on the money. But that's neither here nor there. Josh, give me your score prediction for this game.
My score prediction is going to be I'm going to say 17. Eagles win 17-9.
Oh, that one's a stinky game.
I don't think it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I think you're correct. I think it's going to be one of those games that you're just like, oh, it's going to be like one of those grit and grind type games. I do think it's going to be a little bit more high scoring. I'm going to go with like 20 to like 16 is my prediction. Eagles win. Eagles don't cover the spread. Bettors are upset. But I think it's going to be a game that the Eagles win like comfortably, but they also kind of got to sweat it a little bit because we never hit the gas and like create a lot of separation. But
yeah,
it's one of those games. But it's against a really good team. I didn't realize the Steelers were 10-3. They are a really good team. This is a really good matchup. And then last but not least, before we wrap this up, Bills Lions. Who you got and why?
I mean, I think the Lions probably win. The Bills are good. Josh Allen's amazing, but the Lions are just on a roll. The Lions are just on a roll right now. It's hard to pick against them. I hope they lose.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't mind if their next loss isn't to us in the playoffs.
Yeah, it would. It'd be nice to beat them in the playoffs.
Which side note, I'm very confident about. I don't know why, but I'm very confident if we bet our matchup with them if we play them.
Well, I had a dream last night that we lost to the Packers in the playoffs, so that would imply we probably lost in the first round, probably the first round. Not good, not a good dream. I woke up from it. There was plenty more nightmares happening during that dream. I woke up before I died. That's the big one.
We'll get into that.
Yeah. But in case you don't know, the Eagles need the Lions to lose 2 games, and we have to go undefeated, which is a tough task, especially with the Steelers in the way. But the Lions do have a tough schedule. They got the Vikings, they got the Bills now, and they got the Bears, who I do think divisional matchups they create more problems than people realize. So we'll see what happens there. But that'll do it for the pregame show. Thank you guys for watching. As always, make sure to follow the show at The Link Lineup on X and on every other social media website that there is. If we're not on there, it's okay because we probably won't use it. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the game. We will be back, or I hope we will be back at halftime. If not, for sure, we will be back for the post-game show later tonight. Good luck to everybody in fantasy. Hopefully, these bad boys. It's worth it. It's nice. It feels good to have. I look at myself in the reflection on this thing a lot. But good luck to everybody. Hopefully, you guys make the right picks. I'm sweating out the Tony Pollard, Ramondre Stevenson pick still with 8 minutes left to go. But we'll see you guys later. But until then, as always, go Birds.